planned, but this was raw directed brilliance, bringing a whole new feeling to Nike's adverts, even though we had seen.
This is when in one of these ads is like the kid bumped into Ronaldo and then turned into Ronaldo. I remember watching that shit growing up, bro. I watched that ad and then I went into in my fucking backyard and I did fucking football tricks for the next 3 hours.
Peaks again, putting their customers.
We are live every day on Kick from around 4 to 2 in the morning Mountain Standard Time. So that's 2 hours behind East Coast time. So that's basically like I'm live from 6 to 4 every day. If we're going off for Eastern time. Pull up to the stream. Link is in the bio. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Know the vibes. What ads look like that? That's a good question. They did hit. Yo, child, let's react to this gym. Let's react to this gym video. Let's react to this video. Cause this nigga low-key is he might be cooking. He might be cooking, chat. He might be cooking, chat. Jib might be cooking. I ain't gonna lie. He might be cooking. So why did Nike football ads look like that? Let's see.
Now, Nike has had an iconic history when it comes to football advertising.
That's a
From
fact.
the early street-styled handheld takes, keeping up with the Brazilian national team's silky skills, to the more modern brilliance of an average Sunday league baller turning into Cristiano Ronaldo. But did you know that the history of these adverts is way more complex than you can even imagine? Like, Nike didn't just come out the gates dropping bangers. It took time for them to refine a style and create a formula. They were truly the pinnacle.
Yo, chat, this is why Kanye's the GOAT, bro. This is why Kanye's the GOAT, bro. The nigga was good straight out of the gate. He was literally the GOAT from his first album. I'm sorry. This is not about Kanye. This is not about Kanye. This is about football. Let me stop.
Adverts that I'm going to talk about in this video not only feature world-class players, but also inspired generations of footballers. Kicking off their breakthrough into football advertising, Nike released a pretty bland attempt at making a name for themselves. Well, on the creative side of things anyway. Ahead of the 1994 World Cup, they presented to us some of their biggest stars stuck in monuments, engraved into buildings from each of the players' hometowns, all whilst receiving a football and kicking it to the next star in a different country. The likes of Eric Cantona, Ian Wright and Romario all featuring. You had Ian Wright doing a bicycle kick in what looks like a Trafalgar Square billboard. But this was just the beginning. Nike were just dipping their toes into this market. And of course that explains why the idea was so tame, with a simple premise to just clearly establish their star players. However, this next advert that they came up with, looking back on it, is quite traumatizing. Good vs Evil was Nike's project in 1996, and this was pure evil brain rot marketing from Nike, almost as if they were trying to scare customers into buying their products. And maybe it did work, because with Nike on your side, you can take down the devil. Yes. What? The devil. Bro, 10 seconds into watching this advertisement and I was checking if it was real. I could not believe what my eyes were seeing. I did not expect to see a Nike and Blumhouse collaboration. But no, this was real, because after enduring 10 seconds of this, I finally saw Maldini, R9, Eric Cantona, save me. Pretty much the concept is that this world is rife with demons, who I guess have taken over the world of football in an attempt to destroy the beautiful game. With the literal devil in goal, you see this team of all-star players take on a team of demons. And eventually it's Eric Cantona who laces the ball through the chest of Satan. This is like the edgier version of Space Jam, but with demons instead of aliens and Eric Cantona instead of Michael Jordan. This is one of the greatest and most absurd things I've ever
Chat, I never watched this ad. Should we watch it right now? I never watched this ad.
Witnessed in my life, and I would have never found out about this if I did not make this video. Now thank God that's over, literally, as we head into 1997, when Nike dropped a brand new take on football advertising, etching their prints on the already huge football scene that was taking over London, with the iconic Hackney Marshes being the location where it all went down. A field that many Londoners who grew up playing football would know about. I'm telling you, on a rainy Sunday you were getting 2-foot tackled into a puddle of mud. This is football heritage at its finest. This ad just captured the essence of Sunday football in the UK, presenting this real
we gotta go there and we have to play football then, since this is the essence of football. Get stuck in there, get stuck in!
To fans of this working class sport, seeing guys like David Seaman, Ian Wright and Robbie Fowler playing on a series of pitches that was just so accessible to Londoners. This being a statement from Nike saying that the game is for everyone. Now we walk into 1998, but this walk would slowly but surely turn into a little two-step of Brazilian flair, as Nike dropped an advert that is still watched to this day. Set in an airport in Rio, this advert features the Brazilian national team, a team that would go on to become a staple for Nike advertisement, and we follow them executing these dazzling skills in the airport, all whilst the squad is waiting for a flight. And this perfectly summed up this squad's aura, an aura that oozed this Brazilian freedom and rhythm, with the final shot being R9 hitting a metal post of an open goal, which actually was an unscripted moment from the shoot of the advert. But despite being so memorable, this advert was just the start. Going into the year 2000, Nike would go back to making bootleg movies. And this one did not disappoint one bit, featuring the likes of Edgar Davids, Lilian Thuram and Totti having to go on a James Bond mission to retrieve a football that was taken from a cyborg overlord. Yes, I'm not smoking anything. You had Dutch manager Louis van Gaal driving a team full of all-star football players just to get a ball back, with the likes of Andy Cole and Dwight York featuring, and also cameos from Pep Guardiola and Hideo Nakata. Just look at the amount of effort that went into these early Nike advertisements. Slowly but surely they were cementing this foundation that would become worldwide. And this was all before the Jogger TV era.
And that's, of course, that's in my birth year too, 2000. I gotta watch
footballers get their football back, jumping into a helicopter to escape,
like a
while blowing this building up to smithereens. But now let's take a dive into 2002, where Nike released The Cage. One of Nike's more simple concepts for an advert, its rawness is what made it legendary. Featuring an underground, secret 3 versus 3 football tournament featuring some of the best footballers in the world. Just imagine if this
chat, I'm not gonna lie, bro. If this is actually a real thing, do you know how fucking cool that is? Chat, imagine if in this all of our favorite sports, I'm talking basketball, soccer, the best players in the world, they all link up. I do think this is real though. I do think the best players all link up, but I don't think it's like all of the best. But I do think there's a group of the best players linking up to have like grudge matches, to have like bragging rights type of matches in the sports. Feel me? To see who's really the best. Because Michael Jordan used to brag about having these type of matches with Magic and Larry Bird all the time back in the day. So I wonder if they do this in football.
Payable event to watch, all with the entire series of adverts being set to A Little Less Conversation by Elvis, an iconic song that football fans during this time almost telepathically link to this advert. These ads rolled one game at a time, with each of these stars competing against each other, with the eventual final of the tournament being played by Henri, Nakata and Totti up against another team of R9, Figo and Roberto Carlos. Talking about this advert just doesn't do it enough justice. You just have to see it. From the still cage that they're playing in to the fact that Eric Cantona is the referee. These adverts were genuinely like watching superheroes. So much more real and authentic than the
we're gonna watch
CGI-filled nonsense that is forced upon us to this day.
But I'm not gonna add it to this vid. I'm just gonna put a vid of just watching. I'm gonna call the vid rewatching iconic football ads, and I'm gonna just watch every ad from this video right real quick. So shout out to Jib for the idea. Shout out to Jib. Thanks, bro.
Again, Nike dropped Olé, another banger infused by a classic song. With a game between Brazil and Portugal about to kick off, Luis Figo decides to do a little bit of dilly-dallying, dingle-bobbing, or trolling to say the least. This action leading to an all-out affair of not only street football, but street fighting, with the players chasing after each other at the back of the stadium. You got R9 flicking the ball over players' heads, with the ball even travelling outside of the stadium at one point. And you're thinking this is about to continue for the rest of the ad, and then bang, the referee 2-foot tackles Ronaldinho and makes the teams line up again. This is football. Legendary advert. You had a referee slide tackle Ronaldinho. Who's pitching these ideas? Bring them back. When are we next gonna see football players just start scrapping in the backstage of the stadium? Never. But Nike did that. In 2006, Nike launched Joga Bonito, translating to play beautiful, summarizing what football was at the time. A phrase that is still used to this day, and an iconic campaign that
when you look at all of these faces right here, CR7, Thierry Henry, Ronaldinho, R9, Rooney, Zlatan. I don't remember this nigga. I ain't gonna lie. I don't remember this nigga. I ain't gonna lie. I don't remember. Let me know who this is, chat. It's timestamp. Yeah, just let me know who this is. But I could tell y'all right now, at the time, Ronaldo's strength was his flair, his unpredictability. TT's strength was his speed. Ronaldinho's strength, flair, unpredictability. But don't get it twisted. Ronaldinho and Ronaldo were fast, but they were very unpredictable. R9, unpredictability. Basically again, he could like get to anywhere he wants on the pitch. Rooney, I would say was his strength. He's just a very fucking strong like dude for his age, his size. Zlatan, strength, his height, first touch. He's just really technically good, especially for his height. And I don't know this nigga.
Is timeless, featuring this online TV channel presented by who else but Eric Cantona, one of the pivotal stars that spearheaded this entire Nike football era. He hosted Jogger TV that aired a series of clips featuring our favourite players, with Ronaldinho lacing up a pair of gold Nike Tiempos before hitting the crossbar consecutively, the entire Brazilian national team balling in the changing rooms, Wayne Rooney going in goal and playing like prime Neuer, and Cristiano Ronaldo going up against Zlatan Ibrahimovic in a skills battle. This campaign by Nike also created Jogger.com, which at the time was a real social media network, along with creating their own futsal tournament called Jogger Free. This was a joy and a timeless piece of advertisement that will be idolized throughout each and every era of football. A campaign that solely focused on creating and celebrating the beauty of football, focusing on the joy and art of the sport in contrast to the physical ugly play that we were used to seeing during this time. I vividly remember my older brother showing me these Jogger TV clips growing up, with an iconic intro and a monologue from Eric Cantona at the start of each episode, who at the time I didn't know was a former footballer. These clips created a love of sport for so many kids growing up. Now we just have brands trying to revitalize this exact campaign. But don't do that. Make something original instead that in 20 years we will look back on in the same vein. And in other words, just take it to the next level.
The next one, right? Yep. Alright.
And in 2008, Nike...
Yeah, alright. That was actually... Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna give you that.
really tried to do that. Literally, that's what the ad campaign was called. They managed to muster up this, a POV footballer advert, living through the eyes of an upcoming Arsenal player. In this advert, you lived out this player's life, playing prime Man United, prime Barcelona, and even taking it to the international stage. And just so you know, this advert was directed by Guy Ritchie, a guy responsible for the likes of Snatch, The Gentleman, and Sherlock Holmes.
Guy Ritchie is dead, one of my favorite movie directors, bro.
The full thing and you'll understand, but this was raw directed brilliance, bringing a whole new feeling to Nike's adverts, even though we had seen
this is when, in one of these ads is like the kid bumped into Ronaldo and then turned into Ronaldo. I remember watching that shit growing up, bro. I watched that ad and then I went in my fucking backyard and I did fucking football tricks for the next 3 hours.
The peaks, again putting their customers first, the dreamers. Now reaching the 2010s, it was Nike's turn to write the future, beginning not only a new era of football, but football advertisement. And with the World Cup in South Africa being just over the horizon, Nike went all out run and gun mode, showcasing the sheer weight that footballers carry on a football pitch. In this case, the weight of an entire nation, with one singular decision being make or break in their career. We had Wayne Rooney get depicted as a literal real life version of Shrek, all the way to getting knighted by the Queen, exemplifying how one outcome to a decision can make or break a player's career, and how that specific ripple effect plays out. And looking back at this advert retrospectively, Nike called it, because time and time again as football fans, we think what would have happened if, and in 3 minutes this advert displayed just exactly that. Now coming in at 2012, Nike released a campaign prior to the Euros, but I think they took the rumours of the world ending quite literally, because this year's advert wasn't the best. The campaign My Time Is Now recycled old used techniques that Nike had already displayed. It was almost a rehash of their 2010 campaign without a hard hitting message. And after a performance like that, Nike needed to take a risk. And with the 2014 World Cup around the corner, it was the perfect time to do just that.
Yeah, this is probably one of their most like iconic ads ever.
Now, Risk Everything was an absolute movie.
Well, the movie was actually called The Last Game, but
Literally, it was a movie. With all the best players in football being cloned by the new era, forcing the original players to go into hiding. Football was then left to become this pragmatic, robotic game with little to no.
Bro, this is actually, this fucking ad literally depicted the future, bro.
Risks. With the slogan Risk Everything.
Even down to the fucking haircuts, bro. These robots all have Phil Foden's haircut. That bum.
Original players to go into hiding. Football was then left to become this pragmatic, robotic game with little to no risks. With the slogan Risk Everything being spun into Risk Nothing.
I
And
swear,
without the original.
bro, Risk Nothing is literally the definition of Phil Foden's like football game. Risk Nothing. That's literally the definition of bro's game. Risk
The world of
nothing.
football was at risk, but a superhero showed up, R9 Ronaldo, gathering all the original footballers to play one final match, battling the clones to take back the beautiful game. This is the perfect depiction of what football is to this day, with this hyper focus on stats and key metrics putting players in a box.
Facts.
No more Joga Benito, no more total football.
Bro, I test over stats every day of the week.
Everybody seems to be playing the same patterns and formations. It's like this advert just predicted what football would become, because 10 years later, it's real. We are suffering from a recession of freedom. But all in all, an amazing advert, and I didn't even mention that it was animated. But we also have to talk about the Winner Stays On advert, which was a part of this same campaign. Nike really went 2 for 2. For most kids that grew up in the 2010s, this was the advert. The one that inspired, evoked emotion, and lingered on the playground. This advert became a staple for the average kid, with a plot that involved normal lads having a kickabout in a park whilst transforming into their favourite players. Living out a dream that every boy has dreamt, because who hasn't played football once with their friends before and called out a player's name? Then during that session of football, you're emulating the player's skills and their style of play. It's like every football fan growing up just lived this exact same childhood, and this advert evoked them emotions, this feeling of nostalgia injecting the older football fans, but also a new light being shone on the younger football fans coming up. The switching of scenery,
I'm not gonna lie, bro.
in the back.
Even if they redo this ad for the new generation, I wouldn't hate on it, but they have to pick the right footballers for this ad. Back then, it was easy to find the right stars, but now it's gonna be a little harder.
The Magistas and Superflies that were on display, the comedic timing of some of the jokes, the random cameo from the Incredible Hulk, and of course, that Panenka, taken by a boy who was playing as himself. It all just tied in perfectly to create a special advert for football fans. But yeah, those are all of the Nike ads that I'm going to talk about in this video. But if you want me to talk about, the last 10 years of adverts, then let me know in the comments below. Of course, this has been Jib Rules. If you like this video, then please...
W video, bro. W. Let's get a clap up for Jib, man. W Jib in the chat, man. W fucking Jib in the video, man. W video, bro. No cap.